Born in Switzerland in 1880, Ernest Bloch was a rare artistic spirit, a larger-than-life figure who created some of the world's finest music during the first half of the 20th century. He was also an accomplished photographer who documented key passages in his life's journey. Early years of violin and composition study throughout Europe, the growth of his 3 children and family, his arrival in New York City in 1916, and his subsequent travels throughout the country as an increasingly celebrated teacher and composer. In 1930, 5 years after becoming a naturalized citizen, Bloch received a commission from San Francisco's Temple Emmanuel.
They came up with the idea of something that had never been done before, certainly never been done with any success before, which was to treat the liturgy, the Hebrew liturgy, on the one hand, for worship, in this case for Reform worship, but at one and the same time to transcend that and be a universal work of art.
Bloch retreated to the village of Ticino in his native Switzerland and began composing Avodat Hakodesh, or Sacred Service, a complete Sabbath morning Reform service for baritone cantor with full choir and orchestra. During this time, he drew inspiration from the beauty of the land and from some of its poorest local inhabitants. For Bloch, it was a time to reflect deeply on the connectedness of all life and on his own spiritualism as expressed through this very personal work. It far surpasses a Jewish service now, he would write. It has become a cosmic poem, a glorification of the laws of the universe. After 3 years spent composing his service, it was clear that Bloch had succeeded in doing for the Jewish liturgy what Mozart and Bach had achieved in their masterpieces of Christian worship.
In that sense, the Bloch service was the first. And to this day, many fine composers have followed that model in different styles. But the most famous one remains the Bloch service.
Ernest Bloch eventually moved to Oregon, where he died in 1959. A year later, in his memory, the New York Philharmonic performed the sacred service under the baton of Leonard Bernstein. Singing the part of the baritone cantor was another New York music luminary, Metropolitan Opera star Robert Merrill. 39 years later, in an oral history with the Milken Archive, Merrill would recall the experience of bringing this work to life.
Lenny wrote something in my score which I treasure. He says, "Bob Merrill, you were born to sing this part." I was so thrilled. I recorded, 40 albums in my lifetime, and all operas, but this is one of my favorites. I put it on periodically just to listen.